Tembe to guide us in terms of the issue of the scores.
No, I know I will conclude, Chair.
For
Thank you.
electioneering.
Okay, please.
No,
Thank
we're not
You
here
see,
to
Chair,
Thank you so much. Can I hand over to Honourable Mabel?
when you are sent to come and defend the wrong things in Parliament,
Okay, but also, Honourable Megan, he's rounding up.
I
then I'll give over
understand
to you.
the fire shame. The member was sent to defend wrong things.
Thank you,
So
Honourable
I'm very
Mabel.
patient.
He must indicate I was
So
sent by
the last point
No,
that
Chair, I cannot accept that. And I must be protected as a member of this portfolio
You are
committee.
protected. Can you please just...
is interrupting me. The member is interrupting me. What she said.
Okay, Honourable Nonsi, thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Chair. And we really want to thank every young person in South Africa who would have been following these proceedings. Because the NYDA Chair must serve the youth of South Africa. And it's in public interest that the youth of South Africa must understand what is the caliber of leadership that will form part of a board of the NYDA. It's public interest in South Africa to know that these people who are sending to be board candidates, are they ethical individuals? It's public interest. The youth and the people of South Africa need to know, are we dealing with ethical people here who are going to preside over a budget that is close to 1 billion rand annually? The people of South Africa need to know if there is a whistleblower or if there are allegations against the falsification of qualifications of particular candidates. It's not interrogation. It's public interest. The people of South Africa, it's a people's parliament. There's a reason why these proceedings are live. Otherwise, we're supposed to meet in a corner somewhere in some restaurant and have a discussion amongst ourselves, and then that's it. So I don't know why people now are suddenly becoming defensive or they are being angry because we have potentially shown the public that some of these candidates may not necessarily have the ethical stature that we're looking for to lead the NYDA. It was not a fight. It was a question to say, can we trust these people with the public purse? And we had to take each and every candidate through that particular process. Now, I am happy because I listened very attentively to the presentation of Dr. Tembe. Dr. Tembe, the first thing he did, he agreed with the point that I raised last week to say the Act is saying someone must be 35 by the time of appointment. And even last week, if you remember, Chair, people became extremely defensive. And I'm saying, this is what the Act is saying. I agree with what the Honourable Member is saying previously, but I also think it's being unfair on Dr. Tembe. Dr. Tembe can't rewrite how the Act writes certain sentences or how it words certain things. He's got to read it as it is. If this committee then feels that this Act is not worded correctly or this Act is not specific on certain issues, then this committee is empowered by Parliament to go into a process of an amendment of a particular Act. It's what has happened in many other committees. This committee has done that before.
And we will do that.
So I'm happy that Dr. Tembe says, in as far as the Act is concerned, this process was very seamless. I'm happy that Dr. Tembe doesn't make mention of the free-for-us claims of Popia, which are coming. I'm very happy he didn't talk about that. That's why I won't even entertain the letter that you got, Chair. I think if people have money to waste in the courts of South Africa, they can go and do that. So I'm happy he didn't mention any of that, because in as far as the Popia Act is concerned, if people really understand the Popia Act, this committee did everything possible to protect the information of candidates. We hid their ID numbers. We hid certain parts in the CVs. Certain things. That's why we had a special file that we couldn't leave and we couldn't go out with it. So everything that we did was in line with the Popia Act. Now, if people are just going to come and make such claims and write to you unnecessary letters, Chair, let them do that. We'll meet in court. But we are happy if we have demonstrated to the people of South Africa that we have scrutinized these candidates to the fullest ability. I don't know why people have a problem with us asking candidates questions that are related to their CVs. Because these CVs were not the ones who wrote them. The candidates are the ones who wrote CVs and submitted the CVs to Parliament. So how can a member of Parliament then say, you are not supposed to ask a candidate about their CV. But they wrote this thing to us.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Lonzi.
No, I must make this point, Chair, because you've allowed other members to speak. They've mentioned our names, and you didn't want us to disrupt you when they were speaking. So we have to respond to those things because it's going to create a very wrong impression to the public. So I don't know why people will say you can't ask about a CV. If someone comes here and says, I've got 10 years experience. Now, as members of parliament at this level, we must just accept that this person has 10 years experience because they wrote it on their CV that they have 10 years experience. We ought to ask them to say, but my man, how do you have 10 years experience? Because this contradicts another aspect in your particular CV. By the way, Chair, we even got to reveal something, leave the other investigations and the whistleblowers. Through that scrutinization of the CV, the candidate admits and says there was a typo.
Okay, but Honorable
That is something that we've managed to achieve. Now, if we're going to listen to what the fellow members of parliament are saying, that we were not supposed to scrutinize, it means this parliament was going to run with the impression that that candidate graduated in 2011, when by his own admission he's saying, I graduated in 2021. So why would someone have a problem with that particular revelation unless you are hiding something from the people of South Africa? So we are not part of any agenda that seeks to hide anything from the people of South Africa. If there are candidates who potentially committed a crime, who falsified the CV, who cheated Parliament, who lied to Parliament, who submitted false qualifications to other departments and municipalities in South Africa, we must be able to expose it here in Parliament, not behind closed doors, not anywhere else in Parliament. And if people want to defend criminals, if people want to defend criminality because it's the political party position they were given before they come to this committee, then they will be charged for that. But we must be able to say to the people of South Africa, even when certain members of Parliament wanted to defend a crime, we stood alone even though we stood on our own. It's fine. History will absolve us because very soon investigations are going to take place, certain revelations are going to be made. The people of South Africa must ask, when this question came before Parliament, which side were you standing on? Were you defending this or were you exposing it to the people? So we're not shaken by people who are insecure about their candidates and all of those things. Chair, we're very happy with this list. We're very happy with the manner in which you've run this process. We think that it was fair. We think that we got the best possible young people who are ethical, who are honest, who are qualified. There's a nice mix. I'm happy to see LGBTQI because I think I raised it in the last week that the last board didn't have. So I'm happy to have that representation. I'm happy that we've got disabled youth to ensure that their issues are at the center. I'm also very happy with the gender parity, the gender balance on this particular list of 9 names. The only thing I would have raised, Chair, and maybe you'll clarify it for me, I don't know why we don't write the scores next to them, because we scored these people. And I think, again, it's this culture of hiding things that don't need to be hidden to the people of South Africa. Because we scored these candidates one by one. So why are we hiding that, no, this candidate got 50 and this got what? No, I'm saying you'll clarify it for me, but I must mention it because the people of South Africa know that we have scored these candidates, but we're hiding their scores. The same way we wanted to hide that people falsified their CV, want to hide that someone graduated in 2021, you want to hide that someone has a typo in the CV. I don't understand this. This must be a transparent process. So please try to clarify. I believe that the people of South Africa know that we scored these people, and we must be able to put their scores there. And that will be the truest report to Parliament. Because when you give President Cyril Ramaphosa and Parliament, you must be able to say, this is what we have scored these people. Because now, it just creates an impression that we just got a list of names from nowhere and we don't know where we got them. And then the last point I want to make, Chair, I know people are getting touched because they were sent to come and defend wrong things. But we're here to speak truth to power.
Chair, if
It's
I
our
may,
character.
I just before he proceeds, I think it is an injustice to members of this portfolio committee if we continue to allow such conduct. We respect you as the chairperson of this portfolio committee, and I think that should apply to all members in this particular portfolio committee. You have requested for him to conclude multiple times, and he clearly is not going to take that instruction. But I think this then sets a very negative and wrong precedence,
Can you
and Chair
please
cannot
round
be
up,
allowed.
Honourable Lonzi, because I want Dr. Tembe to
No.
guide us in terms of
No.
the issue of the scores.
Oh, I know I
Not
will
be allowed
conclude, Chair.
for
I-
electioneering.
Okay, please.
No,
Thank
we're
you.
not here
you
to
see,
campaign.
Chair,
Thank you so much. Can
when-
I hand
when
over
you
to
are-
Honourable Mabel?
when you are sent to come and defend the wrong things in Parliament,
Okay, but also, Honourable
yeah,
Megan, he's rounding up.
I
then I'll give
understand
over to you.
the fire shame. The member was sent to defend wrong things.
Thank you,
So
Honourable
I'm
Lonzi.
very patient.
He must indicate I was
So
sent by who.
the last point
No,
that
Chair, I cannot accept that.
Honourable
And I must
Lonzi,
be
please.
protected as a
The-
member of this
the last-
portfolio
You are
committee.
protected. Can you please just...
is interrupting me. The member is interrupting me. What she said,
Okay, Honourable Lonzi, thank you very
No,
much.
but
for
I've got the last point that I want to
Yes,
make. I was
please.
disrupted here.
Please round up.
Chair, I'm saying the whistleblower evidence that you've received, I believe that that must be made available to all members of Parliament because it's a very important information. Even the frivolous letter you must give us so that we can see and
I will be guided with Dr.
rubbish it,
Tembe
yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of
So
that.
I think in the spirit of transparency, everything that the committee receives from the public, it must be shared with us. If it's confidential, we will find creative ways, like last week of having a bulk file, so that we can see the tsotis that we're dealing with in South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, for the opportunity. And I would like to start off by acknowledging all the candidates that submitted and put their names forward to be candidates of the NYDA board, and also those who participated in the interview process. I think it takes resilient and forward and innovative young people who want to lead young people's agenda forward for them to put themselves to such public scrutiny, but also to come and display the capacity and capability. Also taking an appreciation of the demographic groups that are represented. For me, looking at the historical board members or the boards of the NYDA, where we did not previously have the LGBTQA+ and persons with disabilities, it was really encouraging to see this representation as well. And we shall encourage more young people to continue to participate in this process to drive the youth development policy and agenda forward. Chairperson, on my side, I think one would want to appreciate the list that has been articulated. And I think this shows very competent and capable young people who would be able to deliver on the mandate of the NYDA. And I think we have followed quite a diligent process, but taking into consideration that there are levels of bringing, or there are levels that seek to bring this process to disrepute. And I think we must caution against it. And I repeat, Chairperson, that the conduct of Honorable Lonzi is absolutely inappropriate. It cannot be continuously accepted. And I understand that it is his freedom of speech, but we cannot be subjected to this level of abuse, number one. We cannot allow for this portfolio committee to be undermined, the processes that we take resolutions and adopt to be undermined by a portfolio committee member who was parachuted into this portfolio committee at the 11th hour in order for him to disrupt the process and undermine this process. Yes, we appreciate that he highlighted key issues that the portfolio committee needed to look into, but it does not mean we must undermine the entire process. Chairperson, also taking into consideration that the fact that Honorable Lonzi, yes, did mention we took a resolution that we would be reading out codes of candidates when we are scoring them. So we must not be blind to the reality that Honorable Lonzi went and read the name of the candidate, which goes against the resolution that was taken by this portfolio committee. So it's not that he did not infringe on the resolutions. He did that, and also on the rights of that particular candidate. Had it been any other candidate, we would have stood up the same way we're standing. We're not standing up for any particular candidate. We're standing for the rights of young people and South Africans. Additionally to that, Honorable Lonzi indicated that I have been sent, and I would like for him to perhaps indicate who I've been sent by. But one thing we shall not tolerate, and will not tolerate, is such conduct coming from this young honorable member. Yes, we understand he is electioneering. We know that he is campaigning currently, and he needs to be in good books with his president. But he must not do it at the expense of this portfolio committee and this process, and at the expense of young people. We must not undermine this process. Additionally, Chairperson, we did bring it forward to the portfolio committee on the issue of the age. And we were advised before Honorable Lonzi came. Honorable Lonzi must not think some of these things he's the first to bring them up. No.
Am
We
I
have
one of the
discussed them.
candidates here, Chair?
We have discussed
The member is discussing me as if
No.
I'm contesting. Am I one of the candidates?
Oh, well, thank you very much, Chairperson. We did bring it forward, Chairperson, to indicate that the candidates who have perhaps who will be turning the age of 35 or who have passed the age of 35, and we were told that we would be then advised for further clarity. So this was previously brought up by members of the portfolio committee. Additionally, we were advised by the content advisor and the research team in terms of the findings from HR and also the inability to verify some of the qualifications. So members of this portfolio committee were aware of that, and we had taken a resolution, even with other findings, to say that these shortlisted candidates will proceed because of the legal opinion we had been given to say that qualifications are not the premise or the primary focus of candidates being shortlisted or being put into the list, but we look at the holistic capacity and capability prescribed in the legislation. So we must be very mindful. And lastly, Chairperson, in terms of the accusations that are being made, I think we must not create a scenario or a scene where we discourage young people from participating in such processes. Yes, we understand that we want competent, capable, and ethical young people to lead the NYDA board, and we do appreciate Honorable Lonzi for wanting and driving that, but he must drive it in an ethical and principled manner that does not put young people under scrutiny, that does not lead to cyberbullying, knowing that he himself is the one who's championing it. And not only one candidate, multiple candidates have been put under scrutiny and have been cyberbullied through the leadership of Honorable Lonzi, and we must not shy away from that. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chalke Aduenes.